Los Angeles, California. A television studio. Early evening. Fall, 1971. The studio lights hang low over the set, hot enough that the makeup artists keep dabbing foreheads between takes. This is a variety show, the kind that mixes interviews, musical guests, and the occasional stunt segment, broadcast live to a national audience of several million households. The studio audience numbers just under 300, packed into raked seating that curves around the main stage in a horseshoe, close enough to feel the heat of the lights and hear the hum of the cameras. Tonight's lineup includes a singer promoting a new record, a comedian doing a 5-minute set, and, as a novelty segment the producers are particularly proud of, a Clash of Worlds bit, a rising martial arts actor sharing the stage with a professional wrestler for a light-hearted demonstration. The kind of segment built for laughs, not danger. Nobody backstage expects anything more than a scripted bit of theater. Bruce Lee sits in the green room in a simple black shirt, going over cue cards with a producer. Calm in the specific way he is always calm before appearing in front of people. Present, economical, nothing wasted. He is 30 years old, 5'7", 135 pounds. He has agreed to this segment as a favor to the studio, a bit of promotion timed around an upcoming film, expecting nothing more than some scripted back and forth and a friendly demonstration of a few strikes on pads. Down the hall, in a separate room, a very different kind of performer is warming up. His name, for the purposes of this story, is Big Sam Kowalski, a professional wrestler on the regional circuit, 300 pounds of a man who has spent 15 years in the ring throwing bodies around for a living. 6'4", a chest like a barrel, forearms that look like they belong on someone twice his height. He has wrestled in arenas across the country, has a reputation for a signature bear hug that has ended more than one opponent's night early, and carries himself with the specific, unhurried confidence of a man who has never once in his career needed to worry about being physically overpowered. He has heard of Bruce Lee the way most Americans in 1971 have heard of Bruce Lee, a name from television, a martial artist who does that karate stuff in the movies. He has never seen him fight anything real. As far as Sam is concerned, movie fighting and real fighting exist in two entirely different universes, and he has spent his whole adult life in the second one. Backstage, one of the other wrestlers on the circuit needles him, half joking. "You're going out there with the kung fu guy. Try not to break him." Sam laughs. "I've thrown men twice his size across a ring. I'll be gentle." He means it mostly. This is meant to be a bit of harmless television theater, a segment where the wrestler picks Bruce up in a bear hug. The crowd laughs. Bruce play acts a technique. Everybody shakes hands. Cut to commercial. That's the script. That's what the producers rehearsed backstage 20 minutes earlier, with Bruce nodding along, agreeable, unbothered. What nobody accounts for is that Sam, encouraged by the studio audience's energy and his own sense of showmanship, decides 15 seconds before airtime to make it more real than the script called for. The segment begins the way the rehearsal promised. The host, a genial man in a checkered blazer, introduces both guests to warm applause. Bruce walks out first, gives a small wave, settles into a folding chair position center stage. Sam follows a moment later, drawing a bigger reaction. His size alone earns a ripple of laughter and a few appreciative whistles from the audience. He plays to it, flexing one arm theatrically as he crosses the stage, grinning at the cameras. "Ladies and gentlemen," the host says, gesturing between them. On one side, one of the most exciting martial artists working in film today. On the other, he claps Sam on the shoulder. 300 pounds of professional wrestling. Tonight, for fun, we thought we'd see what happens when these two worlds collide. Laughter from the audience. Bruce smiles, easy, relaxed, the smile of a man who has done 100 television spots like this one and understands exactly what is being asked of him. Play along. Look good for the cameras. Keep it light. The host continues, following the rehearsed beats. "Sam, why don't you show us that famous bear hug of yours?" And Bruce, "We'll see if Kung Fu has an answer for it." This is the moment where the plan and the reality begin to separate. Sam stands, grinning at the studio audience, and instead of the loose, theatrical approach they'd walk through backstage, he steps toward Bruce with real intent, the specific committed stride of a man who has decided, in the space of a heartbeat, that this segment will be more memorable if it looks completely real. 300 pounds moving with purpose. His arms come around Bruce's torso from the front, closing fast, gripping with the crushing, full-bodied force of 15 years of professional wrestling conditioning. Not a stage hug, an actual bear hug. The kind Sam has used to fold grown men in half in main events across 3 states. The studio audience roars with laughter and surprise. On the monitor backstage, a producer's eyebrows go up. That's harder than they'd blocked it, but the cameras keep rolling. Live television does not pause for second thoughts. For one full second, Bruce Lee is visibly compressed inside the grip of a man twice his size. His arms are pinned. His feet, briefly, come half an inch off the studio floor. In the audience, someone shouts, only half joking, "Squeeze him, Sam." And then, for seconds after Sam's arms closed around him, the entire studio goes completely silent. What happens in those 4 seconds is what the story is actually about. In the first second, Bruce does not fight the grip directly, does not try to match 300 pounds of crushing force with 135 pounds of resistance, because that particular contest cannot be won, and he knows it instantly. Instead, his hips rotate a few degrees inside the hold, redirecting Sam's line of force rather than opposing it. The same principle that governs redirecting a punch rather than blocking it head-on. The compression that should have driven the air from his lungs instead finds a slightly different angle than Sam intended, buying him a fraction of room most people watching will never consciously register. In the second, Bruce's right hand, the only limb with any freedom of movement inside the hold, finds a precise point along the muscle just beneath Sam's ribs, on the side where the grip has rotated open half an inch. It is not a punch. There is no wind-up, no visible preparation. It is closer to a strike delivered the way a pressure point is located by someone who has spent years studying exactly where the human body concedes control regardless of size. The contact lasts a fraction of a second and travels no more than 3 inches, but it lands with the full transfer of 20 years of daily conditioning behind a hand that has broken boards and cracked wooden dummies thousands of times. In the third second, Sam's arms, for reasons his conscious mind has not yet caught up with, begin to loosen. It is not a decision. It is his own nervous system responding to the disruption at his side, an involuntary flinch traveling from the point of contact through muscles that have, for one instant, stopped receiving the instruction to keep squeezing. The grip that felt immovable a heartbeat earlier suddenly has daylight in it. In the 4th second, Bruce is no longer inside the bear hug. He has stepped through the gap the moment it opened, pivoting cleanly out and to the side with the unhurried economy of someone who has practiced escaping far worse, holds far more times than anyone in the room could guess, and he is standing beside Sam rather than trapped in front of him, one hand resting, open and controlled, against the center of Sam's chest. Not a strike, a placement, the kind of contact that says, without any ambiguity to anyone who understands what they're looking at, this is where the next move would have gone, if there needed to be one. Sam stands there, arms still half raised in the shape of a grip that no longer contains anything, blinking, trying to process what just happened to a hold he has used to end matches for a decade and a half. 300 people in the studio audience, and several million more watching at home, have just witnessed a 135-pound man escape a full-power bear hug from a professional wrestler in 4 seconds without ever raising his voice, without ever looking rattled, without a single wasted motion, and the studio, mid-laugh a moment earlier, goes completely, genuinely silent. Not the practiced silence of an audience waiting for a punchline, the real silence of several hundred people who came expecting a comedy bit and got something they don't yet have a category for. The host, for a moment, has nothing scripted to say. He glances at the monitor, at the producer offstage making a small, uncertain gesture that could mean keep going or could mean what just happened. Television abhors silence, and after a beat that feels much longer than it is, he recovers with a nervous laugh. Well, folks, I think we just saw something a little more real than we planned. Scattered, uncertain applause. Sam lowers his arms fully now, and for the first time since walking onto the stage, his easy showman's grin is gone. He is looking at Bruce with an expression that cameras catch clearly. Not anger, not embarrassment exactly, but the specific look of a man recalculating something he believed was settled 15 years ago. Bruce steps back, unhurried, and extends his hand. His breathing has not changed. His expression carries no triumph, no performance for the cameras, the same calm, direct attention he walked onto the stage with 4 seconds ago. Sam looks at the hand for a moment. Then he takes it, and the grip this time is not a bare hug. It is an ordinary handshake, offered the way one professional offers respect to another. "I didn't feel that coming," Sam says quietly, off the cue cards entirely now. "Not even a little." "You weren't supposed to," Bruce says. His voice is level, carrying easily across the now quiet studio. "That's not a criticism of your strength. Your strength is real. I felt it. But strength that has to announce itself before it arrives isn't the same as control that doesn't need to." The host, sensing something worth keeping rather than cutting away from, leans in with the microphone. "Bruce, what actually happened there? Because from where I'm sitting, you just got picked up by 300 pounds of professional wrestler, and somehow you're the one standing there completely calm." Bruce considers the question with the same unhurried attention he gives everything. Size is real. Strength is real. I'm not going to pretend 135 pounds can match 300 pounds directly, because it can't, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. What I can do is refuse to fight the part of the situation I can't win. Sam's grip was strongest in the direction he was already committed to. I didn't fight that direction. I found the 2 inches of space it didn't cover, and that was enough. Sam, still catching his breath slightly, shakes his head with something between disbelief and genuine admiration. 15 years, nobody slipped that hold. Not once. I've used it on guys bigger than me. Then it's a good hold, Bruce says simply. Today it just met something it wasn't built to answer. That doesn't make it a bad technique. It means every technique, no matter how good, is built around certain assumptions about how the other person will respond. The moment someone doesn't respond the way the technique expects, the technique needs something it doesn't have. The audience, no longer laughing, but now leaning forward with real attention, listens the way people listen when they suspect they are hearing something that matters more than the segment they signed up to watch. The host, aware that live television has just handed him something better than anything in the run sheet, decides to let it breathe rather than rush to commercial. "Sam, be honest with folks at home. What was going through your head in that moment?" Sam exhales, and for a big man built around a career of showmanship, the honesty in his answer is its own kind of surprise. "Honestly, I thought this was going to be easy. I've hugged men out cold in the ring. I figured I'd squeeze him. He'd tap the mat like we practiced. We'd all laugh. Cut to commercial. I wasn't ready for it to actually be a real hold, and I definitely wasn't ready for him to get out of it like that." "Did it hurt?" the host asks. "No," Sam admits, almost laughing now, the tension breaking. "That's the strange part. It didn't hurt at all. It just stopped working, like my own arms decided to let go before I told them to." Bruce nods. "That's the point. I wasn't trying to hurt you. If I wanted to hurt you, the story tonight would be very different, and I don't think either of us wants that story. The goal wasn't to win a fight. There was no fight. The goal was to demonstrate that being bigger and being in control aren't automatically the same thing, and to demonstrate it without anyone getting hurt, on live television, in a segment that was supposed to be a joke." "So you're saying I could have really hurt you?" Sam says. "And you made sure that never became a question worth asking." "I'm saying you're strong enough that if I panicked, if I fought the strength directly instead of finding the gap in it, this could have gone very differently for me." Bruce says. "You didn't do anything wrong tonight, Sam. You did what 15 years of training taught you to do, and you did it well. I just happen to have spent a similar number of years training for the specific moment when someone does exactly that." There's a pause. Sam looks at him for a long moment, and then does something the segment absolutely did not have scripted. He laughs, genuinely, and claps Bruce on the shoulder, carefully this time. "Next time I'm in LA, I want to see your gym. I mean it." "You're welcome anytime," Bruce says. "Bring your students. I'd like to understand what you do as well as you clearly understand it. There's more for me to learn from real strength than there is from imagining I don't need to respect it." The host, grinning now, turns to the camera. Folks, I don't think that's the segment we planned, but I don't think anybody's complaining. We'll be right back after this. Off air, during the commercial break, Sam and Bruce sit together for several minutes near the edge of the stage while the crew resets for the next segment. A conversation the cameras never capture, but that several crew members mention for years afterward. Sam asks how long it takes to develop that kind of control. Bruce tells him honestly, decades, not months, and that there is no shortcut past the daily repetition that makes a technique available in a heartbeat instead of a calculation. Sam, in turn, walks Bruce through the specific mechanics of a proper bear hug, the shoulder positioning, the way real wrestlers generate crushing force from the legs and hips rather than the arms alone, and Bruce listens with the same total, unguarded attention he gives everything that might teach him something new. By the time the show returns from commercial, the two men have exchanged phone numbers, and what began as a scripted comedy bit has quietly become something neither of them anticipated. Mutual respect between two people who train their bodies in almost entirely different disciplines, discovering they have more in common than either expected. The shared understanding that real mastery, whatever form it takes, comes only from years nobody sees. The segment aired to a modest but memorable reaction. In the days that followed, letters came into the studio from viewers asking whether the escape had been staged, whether Bruce had been in any real danger, whether the wrestler had actually meant to grip that hard. The producers, for their part, never fully clarified the record, which is, in part, how a 4-second moment on a regional variety show became a story told and expanded and half-mythologized in dojos and wrestling gyms for decades afterward. Some versions have the wrestler twice Sam's size. Some versions claim Bruce never touched him at all and simply vanished from the hold. Some versions leave out the conversation afterward entirely and end on the silence. None of that changes what the story, at its core, was always really about. Not a fight, because there wasn't one, and not a victory, because nobody lost. Just 4 seconds where 300 people expecting a joke got a lesson instead, that being squeezed by something bigger than you doesn't mean you've already lost a moment, provided you know where to look for the 2 inches the grip forgot to cover. Sam Kowalski, in later interviews given long after his wrestling career ended, would occasionally be asked about that night. He always told it the same way, and always ended it the same way too. Not with the silence, but with what came after. Everybody remembers the 4 seconds, he'd say. Nobody remembers we talked for 20 minutes after the cameras cut away. About respect, about what real control actually